Hello everybody, BrawlerClaw67 here, and we're back with another game that I got while I was here in Japan. Actually, I got this game before I came to Japan, but I didn't have a Japanese PlayStation 2, so I couldn't play it until I got it. We're playing Fate Unlimited Codes, which is the Japanese... And it's Japanese PlayStation 2 exclusive, and they also had arcade versions. The arcade versions are very, very rare in America. So for all intents and purposes, it's a Japanese exclusive game. Arcade Fate Stay Night based fighting game. So it's specifically based on Fate Stay Night. It doesn't have a lot of characters in it per se. It doesn't have a lot of interesting characters. But it's a Fate fighting game, so that's cool, right? First let's take a look at the characters we got here. So we got, also the characters' names are their classes instead of their actual names, which I don't really care for. So, like, Artoria is called Saber. I don't like when people call Artoria Saber because she's only called a Saber in Stay Night because she is, like, hiding her identity. But Saber is a title, not her name, so it's weird whenever people do that. But whatever. There's Heracles, there's Medusa, there's this character, Bezet, who is from, like, a prequel series, I think? If I'm not mistaken, it's Fate Ataraxia, I think, but I'm not 100% sure on that. There's Sakura, who is, a thing that happens. We don't have to worry about it right now. We got Ku, we got Shiro, who's like the main character, basically. There's Rin, who's another character. There's Sasaki Kojirou, who's her assassin. There's Kirei, I freaking hate him. There's Lazerit, who I unlocked, and she's cool. There's Luvia Gedalita, also known as Astria in the phone game. There's Gilgamesh. Apparently, he doesn't get to be. He gets to be called Gilgamesh. He's not called Archer. He's called Gilgamesh for some reason. There's Medea, and then there's freaking. He has. What do you call him? I call him Emiya, but he's Emiya. He goes by Nameless. He goes by Archer. It's freaking weird, dude. I don't know. But we're gonna play as the only two characters that I like in this game. Well, the two characters that I like this game the most are Kojirou, I like Lazerit, and Bezet's cool enough, and Sakura's okay, and Emiya's okay. We're playing as Kojirou. And we're gonna play color 2 because we can. And we're gonna fight against Ku. Tutorial mode select, standard. Let's pick this stage because I like the stage's music. So this game has a light, medium, heavy system, and then what? No, I don't want to do a tutorial mode. I want to do training. I don't want to do tutorial. Oh, I hit the wrong button. I want to do practice. It's called practice, not training. So do that again. Again, I like the stage's song music, so we're picking the stage. But yeah, we got our boy Sasaki Kojirou is so freaking cool, dude. Look at him, he's so cool. So, if you're new to this series, the Fate series, basic premise of it is that, mages in the current age, no, not that. No. That is what I want. On, yes. Mages in the current age, are able to summon as familiars, the spirits of various famous historical figures, whether those figures are real, or, like, fictional. If they're famous from history, then they can be summoned as familiars that are kind of like superhero versions of those figures, where they like have fantastical abilities. They're not like purely human, even if the figure was purely human. And they use these spirits to fight in like a big tournament. And if you win, if your character is the last one standing, if your servant, which is your familiar that you summon, is the last one alive, then you win, and you get the Holy Grail, which grants you a wish. And all the characters are fighting for this Holy Grail, and usually they end up cheating. Usually somebody ends up cheating. At least somebody. At least one character ends up cheating at some point. But yeah, that's the basic premise of it. And so, this character is Sasaki Kojirou. He's from the, he's a historical, famous Japanese swordsman. Well, that move has a lot of range. Holy crap, I didn't realize that move had so much range. He's a famous Japanese swordsman who is notorious for being the chief rival to the most famous swordsman in Japanese history, Miyamoto Musashi. And he's also famous for a particular technique called the swallow reversal, where he swings quickly in 3 different arcs to... The idea of it is to be able to hit something as fast and evasive as a swallow. By first hitting where it is, then hitting where it will go in order to attempt to avoid the first swing, and then a third swing to, like, cut off its other escape route, or something to that effect. And basically the idea is that it's like an unavoidable attack. And so, like, the superhero version of it is that he literally attacks at 3 different angles at the exact same time. As impossible as that sounds. He literally does a triple attack. A triple hit attack, and you can't avoid it. And that's the point of it, is that it's, like, literally unavoidable, is the point of it. But, you know, characters cheat because... so yeah, this game uses a light, medium, heavy system. So you can do light... so this is the main... I haven't practiced in a little while, but this is the main combo that I have for him. Oh, come on. No, come on. Oh, come on. There it is. That's the combo right there. It doesn't do a lot of damage. Kojirou doesn't do a lot of damage. His main thing is that he has a lot of range, and his attack speed is really fast. So he's kind of like a Sheik. So, well, Sheik doesn't have a lot of range. He's like a Marth, I guess, in Smash. And this move right here is really good. And then what's the throw? That's super. What's throw button? What's throw button? I need to throw button. That's throw button. And then he gets a full combo throw. But it's scary. Oh yeah, he can also do and then he can also do like an OTG hit. That's like has like far range and he can hit on the ground. There's like an anti-air version, a normal version, and then a ground version. What's another move? Oh right, it's this. Isn't it? What? Gosh dang it, I forget already. Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. That's it. He has like a counter hit. That move, the heavy version, is like a counter. And then he can only do his like level 3 if it on reaction to a counter hit. which is kind of lame. So I like basically never bother. Also, you can only do the level 3 if that this top one up on the top here, in the middle is glowing, like the grail icon is glowing, and that only happens if it's full and you're the one who gets the hit. Then it fills on your side, and then you have a limited amount of time to do it. So that has to be glowing, and then you have to get this counter to hit, and then you can press the super button, and then you do the level 3, which is like a more powerful version of that. It's just a more powerful version of this. So, you know, it's whatever. But yeah, that gives you basically a basic idea of gameplay. I could also show, laser it, but I'm not gonna bother. I'm just gonna go into an arcade mode. I'm just gonna play Kojirou. I do have the game difficulty lowered a little, I think, because holy freaking crap, the final fight in Kojirou's arcade mode against, Heracles, I lost to it like 20 times. It's so freaking impossibly hard. I literally had to give up, lower the difficulty, and try again. It was so hard. I don't know why. It was just so... Like, the computer player literally cheated. Like, inputting a move as you inputted something so that his would come out faster and beat out yours. It was freaking broken. So, anyway, the story of this game in particular, the Stay Night series version of this, is, as far as Kojirou is concerned, is there's the caster, Medea. So all the servants get put into 7 different categories, like classes. And so the casters focus on magic, obviously. And so Medea, her ability, so every character has like an ultimate skill, called a Noble Phantasm. I don't know why it's called a Noble Phantasm. It's what it's called. The Japanese name for it is, I forget what the actual phrase is in Japanese, but it translates to, like, grimoire. But either way, a character's Noble Phantasm is, like, their ultimate ability. And Medea's is that she literally can break rules. Her Noble Phantasm is literally called Rule Breaker. Her whole gimmick is that she cheats. That is literally what she does. And so in this one, she summoned a servant. She is a servant, but she summoned a servant. And so Sasaki Kojirou is her servant. So yeah, that's how she cheated, is that she became both a master and a servant. The masters are the mages who have servants, and then the servants are the familiars that the mages control. And so she's literally both a master and a servant. And Sasaki, we are her servant. But we're kind of like, we're doing our own thing, because all we care about is having a cool fight, a cool, honorable sword duel with someone. In particular, in this case, Artoria. But Medea's like, nah, I'm a cheater and I want to win. And we're like, that's lame. And so we're just like, we'll play along. And basically, we're standing outside of her castle. She's taken over this old Shinto shrine and is using it as a fortress. And so we're the guard dog at the front gates, and we're preventing anyone from climbing up the stairs to make it to her fortress. And we're just like, she's just like, you will stand guard and do nothing other than stand guard. And we're like, I don't really want to do that, but also I kind of want to just like have a cool fight with someone. And she's like, you will listen to me. That little thing that she just did is like she used a spell that all the masters get. They all get 3 spells, and these spells, these command seals, you get 3 of them, and you can use them to enforce your servant to do whatever you want them to do 3 times. You can compel them. And so she's like, I have these things, and you can't betray me if I have these things. And so he's upset about that. He's like, all right, I guess I'm going to be guard duty then. So we're gonna go fight people who try to attack us. And so first is Gilgamesh, apparently. Yeah, that is a quick rundown of what Sasaki Kojirou's whole deal is. He's like, he wants to have a cool fight with someone. That's literally all he does. He's like, I want to have a cool, honorable sword fight with someone. And Gilgamesh is a freaking cheat. So I said, Medea is a cheater. Medea's ability is literally that she cheats, but on top of the fact that Medea's ability literally is that she cheats, Gilgamesh is a cheater. I'm literally forgetting my first name. Whatever, it's fine. Gilgamesh's cheatiness is that, one, he's the character who's, like, all about breaking the rules and, like, not having a fair fight in the tournament. Also, he's freaking evil. And also, he's a freaking cheater. Mostly in the fact that he's freaking ridiculously confident. Literally, the only reason... So he's like the antagonist, he's like the final villain of the main series, basically. Of the Stay Night series. And his whole thing is that he... his ability, so it's Gilgamesh, and so Gilgamesh is the first epic ever written that we know of as humanity. It's the oldest epic hero poem that we know of. And he basically goes on this quest to find immortality, basically. But his thing is basically he's the oldest king. He's like the oldest god king. And so because of that, his ability is that all treasure that has ever existed and that ever will exist finds its origins in his treasure vault. And so, he's able to summon portals to his treasure vault. He's able to summon portals to his treasure vault and literally pull out any weapon that he could ever want out of his treasure vault. Not only can he pull out any weapon that he could ever want, he can also shoot it like Gatling guns out of his portals. And because they're meant to be the literal versions of other characters' supers. So, for example, Arthur, the easiest example for like a noble phantasm, is Arthur's or Artoria. So Artoria is a female version of Arthur because they're like, oh, no one, Arthur didn't even exist at all. We don't know who the inspiration for the stories were. Could have been a girl. We don't know. So make it a girl because we know our audience is mostly males. That was literally that's you know. And so but Arthur's noble phantasm is Excalibur because it's literally the thing that he's known for, is pulling the sword from the stone and gaining the ability to become king and then wielding Excalibur. And so, Excalibur, because Excalibur is a sword, it is something that can be considered valuable, and therefore, it is something that finds its origins in Gilgamesh's treasury. Therefore, Gilgamesh also has it. This is the case for every single weapon that you could consider, ever. So he literally has full Noble Phantasm strength versions of all of the character's abilities. It's freaking broken. And so, and he's able to shoot them out of his portals like Gatling fire. He's so freaking broken. And to give you an idea, he's so broken, in fact, that arguably every character in Fate is broken to some degree, because that's just the kind of series it is, where all the characters have, like, ridiculous abilities. But for all of the characters that are super powerful, Gilgamesh is arguably the most broken by far. And so much so that the only way that he ever lost is because Shiro, the kid with the orange hair, his ability, he's a mage, and so his mage ability is his like magic power is that he scans materials and is able to modify them, I think, but more importantly, recreate them. So literally, the way that Gilgamesh loses is that he starts a fight with Shiro, he fires off all kinds of weapons out of his Gatling gun portals, and Ishiro literally scans the weapons and recreates them and fires them back at the same time, basically, in order to repel the weapons from Gilgamesh. So literally the only thing that beat Gilgamesh is Gilgamesh's own ability. That's literally the only thing that beat Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh beat the crap out of characters that are, like, ridiculously powerful, like Iskandar, which is Alexander the Great. Also, characters, generally speaking, their strength level, like how obnoxiously powerful they are, is usually correlated with either how famous their story is, how famous they actually are in history, and or how old their story is in history. So, Gilgamesh is the oldest hero. Is literally his, like, tag in the series. His like, code name term is the oldest hero. And so he is he's, like, one of the most powerful. Arthur is incredibly powerful because Arthur is, like, one of the most well-known heroes of all time, all of history. Alexander the Great is one of the more powerful characters in the series because it's Alexander the Great. He's one of the most famous conquerors of all of history. Whereas, say, Sasaki Kojirou isn't necessarily the most powerful because he's known pretty much exclusively in Japan. Or like Joan of Arc is particularly powerful, but she's powerful in a little bit of a different way because she's not one of the main 7 classes. She's an extra class that it functions differently from the main series of classes. Yeah, there's another bit in the prequel series where Gilgamesh fights Iskandar as Alexander the Great. Iskandar is his Persian name, I think. And so in the series he's known as Iskandar. And Iskandar's ability is ridiculously powerful too, but Gilgamesh literally just cheats and pulls out a sword that specifically counters Iskandar's main ability. Like, that's how broken it is. Kill her! Crap. Crap. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like Gilgamesh very much. I think he's a cheap character. Also, in the phone game, it labels him as good. Like, it gives all the characters, like, Dungeons & Dragons kind of, rating systems. Like, lawful good, neutral evil, that kind of stuff. And it says Gilgamesh is lawful good, and I'm like, no, he's not. Have you seen Stay Night? He's not. Or Zero, more like. He's literally not good at all. He's, like, super evil. Though, to be fair, I think that the ratings for the characters in the phone game, I think are more based on the actual historical figure rather than the character's representation in Fate, because it gives Tamamo no Mae the description of chaotic evil, whereas in her actual history she's, like, super evil, but in the Fate series, she's, like, very much not evil. So I would consider her to be, like, lawful good, but she's considered chaotic evil because it's based on her representation. It's based on her alignment status is based on her actual historicity rather than her representation in the series. But yeah, anyway. So, like, I guess in actual history, Gilgamesh probably wasn't considered evil. Because, I mean, he, like, protected his the whole thing with Gilgamesh, I'm not the like biggest historical scholar on Gilgamesh, so you'll have to forgive me. But basically, from what I understand, his whole thing is that he went out to go get like a elixir of immortality. The gods were like, no, a human can't become a god. That we can't allow that. So they created out of clay, I think, Enkidu, who was designed to basically fight Gilgamesh and kill him so he couldn't gain immortality. But Gilgamesh won and spared Enkidu, and they became friends. And the gods were like, hey, that wasn't supposed to happen. And so I think they kill Enkidu, and then Gilgamesh gets sad and stops his quest for immortality. And instead goes back to Uruk in order to act as their god king, basically, and like defend them from the wars and stuff. And so I guess in that sense he probably was technically like lawful good. No blocking. Bodied. Alright. So yeah, you can tell that Sasaki Kojirou is very much a rushdown character. He just wants to stay in your face, use his range and speed to just completely prevent you from pressing any buttons. His damage output is pathetic, so he has to get like a lot of combos. But, alright, we're at the final fight, I think, here. And basically we're like, it's freaking Heracles, or Hercules, depending on whether you like Greek or Roman mythology. And Gilgamesh freaking deletes us. And we're, or not Gilgamesh, freaking, Heracles. Because Heracles' ability is also ridiculously broken. And so, like, we get knocked out. I'll tell you in a second what Heracles' ability is. But we get knocked out, and Medea's like, you're not allowed to be down. That's you need to defend me here. You're not allowed to die. So she spends her last spell to wake us back up so that we can fight again. It's like that was her last spell. So now we're able to fight again because we got another surge of magical energy and we're gonna go fight. She used her last spell, which means she can't use any spells to prevent us from killing her. So we get her. Because we didn't like her because she was evil and controlling us. But now we still got to deal with Heracles, so let's do that. And hope that I can actually win and not die. Because Heracles' thing is that he has a lot of armor, so my rushdown stuff doesn't really work very well. And also his attacks hit like a freaking truck. So... Ow. Super! Alright. And... crap. Good, okay. Ah, armor, throw, use a grappler. Oh yeah, you can't block me here, by the way. I don't want it. So you were able to like reach it from afar. That was I'm trying to remember, there was a specific button you have to press in order to do side steps. Oh yeah. He has like 4. There's a specific button you have to press in order to like sidestep into the ground, or foreground and background. I don't remember what button it was. I was trying to press that button and I accidentally did my a burst move, like a X Factor basically. If you know Marvel vs. Capcom 3, but I don't remember. But we won, and now we get to be okay now, and not be controlled under media anymore. So that's cool. So yeah, that's this game. I don't give a crap about credits though. So clear time. Yeah. Game over. Hey. Boom. All right. What was our placing though? What was our rating? Let's find out. If it'll tell us. It won't tell us. Never mind. It didn't tell us. I'm sad now it didn't tell us. Also, you get to choose which character's voice is the title screen background. So I chose Sasaki Kojirou because he's cool. I also watch movies and see like I can look at the models for the characters and stuff. I think only for the ones you've beaten the arcade mode with. So these are the only characters I've beaten arcade mode with. There he is. Alright. But yeah, we're not gonna do this. So yeah, that was Fate Unlimited Codes. It's a cool game. The gameplay, the kind of combo system in it, and the kind of game feel of it is really good. So yeah, it was good. So yeah, I will figure out what game we want to play next. And we will see. But that was a bunch of the fighting games. I do have one other fighting game that I could play, but I'm not going to bother. It's the Japanese PlayStation 2 version of Soul Calibur 3. The weird thing about it, though, is that other than the fact that it is exclusive, it only functions on the Japanese PlayStation 2, and the fact that the box is in Japanese, for all intents and purposes, the game is in English. Because all of the menus are in English, all the default voices are in English, everything is in English, except you can go into the settings and change the voice to the Japanese voices instead of the English voices. Literally everything else about the game is in English. So there's no point, I'm not going to bother showing it, because it's, for all intents and purposes, I have an English game. You know, for all intents and purposes, so I'm not going to bother showing it off, because it's not really as interesting as all these cool games that I got here in Japan. So next up, I don't know what we're going to do next up, I'm going to find out. And but whatever it is, stay tuned. Go ahead and subscribe if you want to, if you're interested in seeing what comes next. So you'll be notified whenever it comes out. And yeah, stay tuned. Peace out.